Hey everyone, welcome to Encore, and here's day 2 of my Sigma makeup brush review. Good morning everyone, I'm back. So yesterday I showed you guys the Sigma brush set, and I took the time to wash them and give them a good wash test so that I can determine how it's going to be like as far as shed factor and all that. And I dried that overnight, and here they are now, nice and dry. Oh, and by the way, I got this idea from EnKoreMakeup. Check out her channel, and when she did a video on washing brushes, she used this CD crate. So this is actually just a CD case that I got from an Asian store. All right. And I didn't know if this is available at Michael's or anything like that, so just kind of like keep an eye out the next time you shop. But I got this from an Asian supermarket, and they're all nice and dry. So now I'm going to show you guys the individual brushes and what you get at the as part of the face and eye set. All right, from Sigma Makeup. So starting with the SS150. Alright, so the handles are black handle, and it's lacquered, rounded end, much like MAC, and it's got the Sigma Makeup logo, and then the number of the brush. So this is the SS150, which is comparable to, of course, the MAC 150. Now I emailed Simone yesterday, and Simone once again is the owner of Sigma, and she said that she tried not to completely make the brushes identical to MAC because they wanted to create a signature for Sigma, but the numbers are kind of corresponding to the MAC brush that it's going to be comparable to, but they're not identical. Okay, so there's just a slight difference on some of them. A couple of them are big difference, and I'm going to point that out to you guys. This is part of why I'm doing this review. As far as washing them yesterday, the eye brushes did not shed at all, which is great. Okay. As far as what shed, which is very few, surprisingly, it's really not that much. This brush, the SS150, shed very, very little. I think there's only like 2 or 3 strands that I notice. Okay. And I'm going to point that out as we go with the showing you guys the brushes. Yay! I'm trying to wake up. It's early in the morning. Okay, so the SS150, of course, is comparable to the MAC 150. Alright, and it's really, really dense. Now, the reason why this shed a little bit is that's normal and common to dense brushes like face brushes. Even MAC, my 150 still sheds, okay, every now and then when I wash them. And I'm going to show you what the MAC 150 looks like. This is the MAC 150. Okay. Alright, and that's the Sigma SS150. So it's almost identical. Alright, I really don't see any much. Maybe this is just a little wider. Okay, as far as that's concerned. So that's what you get, is the SS150 as part of that kit. And then I'm going to move on to the next brush. Now this is the stippling brush, and this is the SS187. Alright, and this is of course comparable to the MAC 187. Now this shed a little bit more than the 150, but it's just the black goat hair right here that I noticed. And then again, you know, that's really common for the, even, you know, with the MAC 187, for those of you guys who acquired MAC 87, it does shed a little bit. And also the other comparables that I have featured before, whether it's from Coastal Scents or Crown or anything like that, it's pretty normal for this brush to shed. Okay, so eventually it's going to stop. Now, one thing I notice about this brush, I think it flares a lot more. Now let me see if I have my, here it is. This is my 187 from MAC. I don't know, just very slightly it kind of flares out a little bit more. Okay, and one thing that you'll notice is that the white bristles is a lot more dense on the 187. It's a little thinner on this set, but it still works good because of the synthetic fibers right here is basically what you're after. So if you're wondering about the density of the white fiber, the MAC 187 is a little bit more denser, and the SS 187 is just a little thinner. But as far as the black goat hair is concerned, I think it's pretty much the same. Okay, all right, so that's the SS 187. Now, the next brush in the kit is the SS 168. All right, and once again, it's much like the 168 brush from MAC, white goat hair, the angled shape, and this is of course great for blush and contouring. And side by side, comparing that to my MAC 168, just very slightly, just maybe just a little wider, maybe just a little, it's really, really tiny, the difference. So it's almost identical. All right, so you get that in the set. That's the SS 168. This did not shed at all. It did not shed. Okay, so our next brush is the SS 190. Okay, and it's the foundation brush, of course. This is comparable to the MAC 190. Now, one thing I noticed about this brush, I think it's narrower, and the color right here is a little slightly different. You know, where the beige and then the black and then the white tips, that's definitely different. And comparing that to my 190, now my 190 is really old. This is probably over 10 years old, so it's a little kind of, you know, it's still in good shape, but the coloring probably looks different now from, you know, constantly washing it for the last 10 years. But as you can see, it's a different kind of pattern. So I just can't recall what it looked like when I first got it because it's so long ago. But anyway, see how this is wider than that, but it still makes a great foundation brush. So you get that, and that's the SS 190. Now for the eye brushes, you will get the SS 224. Okay, and of course it's the blender brush. And this did not shed. Actually, none of the eye brushes shed, so which is really, really good. But in comparison to MAC, I'm just showing this to you guys side by side so that you can see the difference. But it's not MAC, so you know, if you want MAC, get MAC. But I'm just kind of like showing you guys visually as a reference of what they look like compared to the real MAC. Okay, so here it is. The 224 is this one, and this is the SS 224. So as you can see, the bristles, it's the same density, but the length of the bristles is just different. So the MAC is just slightly longer than the SS 224. All right, so it still makes a great blender brush. Okay, the next brush is the SS 219. Pencil brush, and then side by side, just for visual reference. Okay, that's what it looks like. So the MAC kind of narrows into a point. But then again, this is kind of like one of those brushes that's inconsistent with MAC. Sometimes you get them into a nice point. Sometimes you get them in a fluffy point. And it's just one of those brushes that you have to just visually pick which one you want if you're buying them from the store. Because they're all different. Okay, so a lot of people like them as pointy as it can. And a lot of people like it a little bit more rounded. So that's the difference. So this is just a little bit more rounded than the MAC one. But you get the SS 219 in the set. And then there's the SS 252. Now this one, the idea is the same, but it's you can tell the difference. Okay, the bristle is narrower and it's not as golden, you know, like a golden Taklon, as the 252. Now this is the MAC 252. So you can see it's narrower and it's not as golden as the bristles on the 252, but it's comparable to the 252. Okay, so the next brush that's included in that set is the SS 209. Okay, it's a liner brush, and putting that side by side with the MAC 209, it's wider. All right, just very slightly wider. And the 209, the MAC 209, has a little bit more of kind of like a rounded tip to it. So it's not really like a point. Alright, as opposed to the SS209 that really comes to a point, which I think is going to make it more of a great liner brush because of that point right there. Okay. Alright, so that's what they are side by side. So that's probably a better brush than the 209. Then again, that's just my opinion. Alright. Moving on to the next brush is the SS239. SS239. This one, okay, what's the first thing you guys notice compared to a MAC 239? MAC 239 has white bristles. Okay, there we go. Alright, but it still have that filbert shape to it, that oval shape, shader shape. Alright, but it's just different bristles. There you go. So that's the 239, or the SS239. Now the next brush in the kit is the SS275, okay? And it's an angled shader brush. And here's the MAC version. Again, just slightly wider. I think the MAC's a little bit more fluffier. So if you guys are looking for an angled shader brush that's not as fluffy as MAC, then definitely this is a good brush for that. It's not, so you can see, it's fluffier, maybe denser, yeah, than that one. Okay, so that's, again, that's just a visual comparison for the MAC 275 and the SS275. Okay, the next brush is a concealer brush. This is the SS194. Okay, and one thing that you'll notice is that it's wider and it has shorter bristle than a MAC 194. And let me see, 194, this is the MAC version, 194. So there you go. So it's narrower and longer. Okay, but it's still a great concealer brush. And once again, like Simone said, you know, she really doesn't want to replicate and make the brushes identical because she's trying to build a little bit more of a difference and a little bit more of a signature for her brushes. So that's one brush that's really, you know, that you'll notice a big difference. Okay, and then the final brush in the set is the SS266. Alright, and it's an angled liner brush, and it's also, it can be also used as a brow brush. Alright. Okay, so that's all the brushes that you get in the complete set, which is the face and eye brushes. And once again, check out the website, www.sigmamakeup.com. And then finally, the buffer brush. And of course, this is only available individually. You can buy this as a single. This is the SS182. And one thing you'll notice that the handle right here is a lot shorter than what a normal 182 would be. Again, you know, another product that they're putting a little bit more of their signature to it. So it's dense. It's a really great buffing brush. All right. And again, just for visual comparison, this is the MAC 182. So you can see the handle on the MAC 182 is bigger than the SS 182. And the brush is definitely a lot more fuller, a lot more denser. And it's definitely, you know, just a bigger brush in general than the SS182. So if you're looking for, you know, a smaller brush, especially it's ideal for those of you guys who have smaller face, you know, and it's definitely a great buffer brush for you guys. So definitely check that out as S182. And once again, there's the comparison to the MAC 182. So until next time, guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.